Now, supply chain attacks are also might be very common for large organizations where they involve a third party vendor or software provider that the organization relies on. Means we everyone have their own specific internet service providers. So what the supply chain attack do? They target their vendor software. They target their vendor or their internet service provider. Means the person who is going to provide them these services. They going to target them. And through that, like SolarWinds software, I told you that the vendor was not aware about the vulnerabilities that was present in the SolarWinds. So as per for the update mechanism, the hacker tried to add the malicious code in the software. Now the thousands of computers were using the SolarWinds supply chain software. So that was a supply chain attack. Through a third party application or through a vendor software, they try to attack multiple computers. Now that software or update was distributed to thousands of organizations, and the thousands of organizations was affected by that. Now the question is, if such situations we are going to face, how we are going to deal with them. Now, before meeting with the third party vendor, you have to ensure that they meet the security standards. Means the security standards that that are set by the third party vendor are good. They are not compromising, so that you will not face any kind of loss due to them in future. Now, you can use security tools that can analyze the third party code for malicious behaviors. You can monitor the supply chain software updates. You can access for signs of tampering. So you can do the multiple things in order to deal with different supply chain attacks. Now we have social engineering, another kind of attack. Now here it is a method of manipulating peoples. Now, for example, a phone call pretends to be from an IT help desk. Now, like you might be listen that you maybe or maybe not in future or in past you get a call from a suspicious person that I am a IT help desk person. I need your login credentials to resolve an issue with an employee's account or with some sort of your social media account. Multiple things. Social engineering means that faking yourself as a IT professional in order to gain the individual trust, just to breach their privacy, just to gain access or towards their accounts or the details for a bad purpose. Now, how you can deal with that? Now, if you're running an organization, then as the owner of that company, it's your responsibility to train your employees to recognize and report their social engineer tactics that they can perform. You can implement policies that ensure the sensitive action like the password reset. You can follow the strict protocols to ensure that there cannot be a certain kind of fraud. You can encourage a security culture where the employees feel comfortable verifying that suspicious requests. And more importantly, if you are not organizational owner, but if you are a common person, then you should be aware of these social engineering attacks. Like if you get a call that provide us your credentials, there is a specific issue with your bank account, we need your PIN, your ID, something like that. In order to resolve that issue, then you must know that this can be a scam. So we discussed different kinds of threat. Till now, we have discussed what is difference between the threat intelligence and threat hunting that are the most important concepts of cybersecurity. So if you have any question till now, let me know. Then I will move towards the next topic.
No, miss, it's clear.
Okay. So now we have the second topic of discussion, that is analyzing the malicious activities using the appropriate tools and techniques. Now, how we can analyze different malicious activities through different tools. Like IOC is a term that we have discussed previously, and I on purpose didn't tell you what is the abbreviation of this. It means identifying indicator of compromise. It's a term. Now we will look about that too. Now, here to identify the activities in cybersecurity, we need some specialized tools and techniques to detect, to investigate that threat. Now, different security professionals rely on a range of methodologies from examine the network traffic to analyzing the log and whether to identify the indicator of compromise. Indicator of compromise is a term that will notify you that there is a compromise that is happening in your security layer that might need some kind of action. The first one is the network security analysis, like the NTA. Now, here it will involve capturing and analyzing the data to the networks. It will detect different patterns that are suspicious. Now, this technique will effect for identifying the commands and control traffic. Here in the network traffic analysis, it will identify whether there is a suspicious pattern. Maybe within 1 minute, multiple users are trying to log in at the same time. So that can be a suspicious pattern. Then you might identify a IP address that is masked. Means it is coming from a different location just because of VPN, but its original location is somewhere else. That can be a different kind of patterns. So in network traffic analysis, they try to observe such kind of patterns. So this technique is effective for identifying the commands and control traffic, where they are providing the command and they want some kind of control in that. The malware spreading through a network. Like if we take a scenario here, an organization suspects a malware infection but hasn't received any alert from the antivirus solution. That is a scenario. Means there is a virus, but they are using different kind of good antivirus, but that antivirus didn't notify them. Now what they are going to do, through the network traffic analysis, you do that. Now you also detect that virus, that there is some sort of infection, but the suspicious thing is that your antivirus didn't notify you. So now how you are going to detect that? How you are going to confirm that we have a malware? Then you are going to use the tools like Wireshark or Z. These are the two tools that are used to capture and inspect the network packets. They will do an analysis to reveal the unuser outbound traffic to a non malicious IP address in a foreign country. So it will indicate that the infected system is communicating with a command and control server. So these are the two tools that are used for that purpose. Now, you have checked the scenario, you know the tools, now you have to give a response. Now the network team may isolate the effective system, means they will isolate or bound or limit that system. The access or resources of that system will be limited to some extent. They will block all the outbound communication to that server. They conduct a deeper forensic investigation just to understand what is the nature of malware and how it is spreading to my all organization systems, how I am going to stop that. Until that, you will isolate that system, means that that server will not take any outcoming request no more. So until that malware is detected and you have solved that. Now, the next one is we have discussed this network traffic analysis. We have endpoint detection and response. Now, what does it do? It will monitor and record the endpoint detection and response. Means this solution will monitor and record the activities of endpoints. Means let's suppose the smart machines that are connected with your system, like the desktop, the servers, the tablets, to detect any suspicious behavior. So the EDR tools are essential for identifying the sophisticated attacks that are not triggered credential antivirus alerts, like such as it can be fileless malwares or advanced persistence threat. Like we take an example here, like a organization face a sophisticated attack where the malware is executing directly in the memory. Now, what that kind of softwares or attacks will do, you are not aware that some sort of software is installed or residing in your C drive or D drive. Specifically, such kind of software reside in the main system drive, like the C drive that is known as the system drive of your system. They will hide themselves there, and they maybe destroy different important files in your system or try to harm your computer, and your traditional softwares didn't your you might be use different sort of antivirus software to detect such kind of suspicious activities, but they are unable to detect them. So that kind of scenario here I want to explain here. Now, to deal with such kind of things, we use EDR, means the endpoint detection and response tools, like CrowdStrike, Plugin, like we have Carbon Blacks. So such kind of tools detect the unusual memory access behavior. Now you don't know that how much memory is being used, but there are some sort of software which are trying to kill your system files itself. They want to destroy your system, and you are not aware of that because your traditional antivirus softwares are not detecting. So you use the tools that whether there is any unusual memory access behavior, whether there is a process execution such as PowerShell script being used in a abnormal way. So these tools will isolate the affected endpoint. It will allow the security team to do the investigation and remove that malware without shutting down the entire system. So that was the endpoint detection and response. So this is another sort of cybersecurity threat, and that is the tool that we can use. Then we have sandboxing and malware analysis. Now, sandboxing is a technique that is used to safely execute suspicious files or code in a controlled environment. Means this sandbox means that a boundary is created, a safe boundary, where you allow that malware to execute the code in a very controlled environment. Like you are observing their behavior, like what that malware can do. Like for example, to test some sort of vaccination, we try to inject a virus in a specific person just to test whether this vaccination will work on that person or not. Similar to check the behavior of that virus, we try to launch it into a very safe environment that is known as sandboxing. Means you in just like a sandbox, you bounded that virus to behave it, and you know that with this behavior there will be my system will not be affected. Just to it is useful in identifying in a new or unknown malware so that if you can take steps or action against them. Like an employee receives a suspicious email with an attachment that was not flagged by the email security filter. Means the email security filter didn't stop that. So you want to analyze that attachment, what sort of virus it can. So you use the sandboxing environment tools like Book Sandbox. You can use that. Now you will run this file and observe its behavior. You will reveal the attachment. Maybe it contains a ransomware. Maybe it tries to attempt the encrypt files or communicate with the external servers. So what you will do, your security team will block that email attachment before it reach to the other employees, and you will read that behavior and train your system that it will filter such kind of mails if it comes again. Then we have forensic disk and memory analysis. Now, what it will do when an organization suspects a security breach, it will analyze the disk image. Whether it's a memory dump, can provide detail inside how the breach occurred, why the breach occurred, what is the reason that is affecting my system. Like the attacker gains the access to your high value system. Now the attacker have access to your system, a very high valued system that is responsible uh, to maintain your all over organization. Now the organization needs to determine how it happens, what data may have been stolen. For that purpose, the forensic disk and memory analysis is used. You can use the FTK imager for that purpose to analyze that. You will capture and examine that disk image, your different memory snapshots, how that happened, why that happened. You discover evidence of the unauthorized access. Now the attack is already happened, but you want to know the reason why and how that happened so that in future such kind of thing will not happen. You will prevent such kind of thing to be happen. For that purpose, you do the forensic disk and you will provide the response like your security team may patches the vulnerability, they will disable the compromised account, so they will take different security measure against such kind of attacks. The seventh one is the threat intelligence platforms. Now, what is the purpose of such kind of platform? They will collect, process, and distribute the threat intelligence to help the organization to proactively detect threat. Now, such kind of platforms will gain different knowledge about newly launched threats, malwares, just to aware the organization that in future, if such kind of attack will happen, what you have to do. It wants like let's suppose we have an organization that wants to stay ahead about the threat. It can be a new malware variant or the targeted attack. You can use the tools like TIP. It can be a malware information sharing platform, a threat connect that can collects different intelligence from external sources like the government agencies. It can be security vendors that are providing you that external information. Now, in response, your security team will be updated with that threat. They will, in advance, take measures to prevent your systems. So, this is how different tools can be helpful to identify and analyze that threat and how you can protect your system or organization against them. So, as for a short assignment, what you have to do, we have discussed almost 7 tools related to different security threats. So you just have to search about this tool and you have to learn how this tool works. So just for the sake, if like my vision is to expand your knowledge in cybersecurity, so you just need to. So here in slides we have discussed Wireshark, Z. So we have discussed how they are used to identify the threats. So you can just go on Google and search about that. You can view these tools what is their purpose, and when and how I will be used. Like in future, you might face some sort of attacks, not as an organization owner or employee, or whether you are using your personal system, or in future you might face such kind of loss. So you might know that I have learned this cybersecurity course, and here I have discussed or learned different tools and how I'm going to use it. So sandboxing is a very important technique. In future, if you take other cybersecurity courses, then there can be a lot of questions related to this. So you can go and search about these tools. You can also search these network traffic analysis tools just to learn more about them. So if you have any questions till now, let me know.